Well, we've gone through the sort of top, 10, 12 in the betting. We're going to touch on Prince de Beauchesne in a second. But we've got clips that were provided for us from Betfred. Very interesting insight into the fences around Betfred. And again, here's Ryan Mannion talking about the Canal Turn.
Just in behind these, the Dark Jacket of Sol, being followed by Oscar Time, Aurora's Encore, Balthazar King, Seabass, Swingbill, and then Kappa Blur.
From Fournaven to one of the most iconic fences, the Canal Turn. We've already touched upon it, of course, but position is key. Where do you want to be?
Well, as you can see, you want to be swinging out and coming in. I mean, obviously, you want to be jumping down the rail, but because it's 90 degree, you want to be coming in from wide out to cut the corner almost, And if you've got someone in your inside, you can't do that. So, obviously, it's all about position, but at the same time, you've got, 39 other horses round about you. So you have to be mindful of them. And it's a very, very difficult fence to jump. I'm not sure I've ever got it right. Certainly second time we jumped it in the National last year, I ended up further out than I wanted to be. Which wasn't ideal, but it didn't make a lot of difference to me.
Is it a fence where, especially on the second circuit, that you could actually end up losing the race on?
Yeah, you could. As I say, if you get the wrong angle and swing away out, you're losing lengths, which is costly at the end. If you lose the race by a length and you've lost 5 lengths here, then you're going to think, oh, if I'd got that right, it might have made a difference.
Right, we are going to now start talking into the decent odds. When I mean decent odds, forget those 10 to 1s and 8 to 1s and 12 to 1s. We're going to look now at some value and sort of try to pinpoint where that value might be. We must touch on Prince de Beauchesne very quickly. Yeah,
well, I think he has to be mentioned just simply because the fact he was twice now, he's been, I think, anti-post favourite for this race, and at the 11th hour he's been injured. Horse with a touch of class, represents a trainer in Willie Mullins who's won this race. Willie's obviously in good form, owned by a top man in, I was going to say Howard Johnson ever, but it's obviously, it's
Mine's gone blank.
Oh, Boston Bob. Can't believe Tidal Bay's owner.
Yesterday.
Graham Wiley, there we go. Sorry, I've had an absolute nightmare there.
That's all right.
Represents top connections.
Live, we could have cut that bit.
Yeah, look, we can cut that bit out there. Throw in a few curse words in a minute as well, it'll be all right. I think he has a really, really strong chance in this. He did make my top 5 or 6. Touch of class, obviously, he always felt he was a national horse connections. He's won here at Aintree at this festival before over regulation fences. I think he'd go really well for top connections.
He won here off, just one quick point, he won at Aintree in 2011, trained by off 138. He's now off 147 and he hasn't won since.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm putting a line through a lot of your ones in the top 5, Dick. But that's what it's all about,
I just talk a good story.
Absolutely, absolutely. I tell you what, someone have to talk a good story if they fancy Pinot de Ray.
Pinot de Ray was third in the Pretemps, only beaten by Fingal Bay at Cheltenham. It's taken the same prep route that Don't Push It did when he won the National.
Jumping sketchy.
He was actually, he fell in this in the Beecher. Was it the Beecher?
And the Aintree form isn't great.
In December.
Great.
But he was back that day as well.
He was.
And he is trained by a very shrewd guy. So he's, he is one for the short list.
Yeah. Yeah, he's won at Exeter, but winning at Exeter and Aintree isn't the same thing. I don't think he's got a particularly good record at Aintree. That's what would worry me. Don't tell me it's in your top 5 though.
No.
No, good. Okay. Triolo de Lane now.
Top 6.
Top 6. Triolo de Lane. I'm so sorry the rain has come because I really do like this. Now I'll tell you the reason why I like this. Now it won the Topham last year, and when it won the Hennessy, straight away, Nicky Henderson came out and said, Barry Geraghty said, this is a Grand National horse. The mark will be suffered by the fact that we won this. And if you take the fact that Barry Geraghty is, in my mind at the moment, riding as #1 jockey, both in Ireland and in the UK, for him to say that, he must feel strongly that this horse will stay. The only doubt now is obviously the horse has been pulled out, certainly because of softening of the ground during the course of the season. Can we make an argument for Triolo de Lane?
You can, but I think he had quite a tough race in the Gold Cup. I'm not sure if you lads agree, but I don't think he can come from that run in the Gold Cup, and I don't think he can be competitive here. And he's a very young horse as well.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's what I was going to say. You know, is it a year too soon for him?
It could well be.
It's 3 years too soon.
Yeah.
Right.
7-year-olds don't win the Grand National. Simple as that.
No, that's a valid point.
Right, line through him next.
Right, okay, line through. Brilliant. Big Shoe. Are we going to put a line through Big Shoe?
I quite like Big Shoe personally. I think he's been laid out for this the whole season. Connections have said he's been laid out for it. The last when it ran in the cross country at Cheltenham, Connection said before the race it's not 100% fit because he wanted it to be 100% fit on the day at entry for the Grand National. And I think this has been his target all year.
Big Shoe is in my top 5.
He's never won a handicap.
Is it the second mention I've had?
Never won a handicap over fences. He's won 2 cross-country races. The Latouche, but to be fair, it weren't just any 2 cross-country races. He won the Cheltenham and then he went to Punchestown and won the Latouche, so he did the big double, which was great.
Would you say out of the 2? I mean, obviously, Big Shoe and Balthasar King have run against each other, and Balthasar King won that. But I got the feeling that if it was over further, Big Shoe may have beaten Balthasar King. Yeah. And that's why I think out of the 2, with those kind of experience over the fences, I would favour Big Shoe, and I think it could sneak into a place, and it could be good odds as well.
Given Balthasar King is a Cheltenham expert, you know, Cheltenham is his track. I think it's a cracking run from Big Shoe. And as Conor was saying, I didn't read those quotes myself now, but that was kind of a prep race for the Grand National. You know, that's a cracking run. I'm not sure. Like he's coming from a discipline which is considered, you know, lower than your standard handicap, and he's a point to pointer.
Could be made that the horse would be better on heavy going. The one thing this horse will do is stay the distance.
Yeah.
So you know,
I don't think he's got enough class.
I think he's got enough class,
in my opinion.
but there's no doubt it will stay the 4 mile 3. We think.
But should they all do if they go slow enough?
You said to me earlier on they'll go some pace.
Yeah, they will. That's what I mean. I don't think he'll have class enough to lie up.
Right. Okay. But whilst there's question marks against others over that distance, there's no question marks against someone like Big Shoe, right?
No, he's won on good to soft at Cheltenham as well.
Yeah, he's won on good to soft.
I wouldn't be too bothered about the ground from he didn't make my top 6 now, but he was just outside, and I know he's come in from only Twitter Corner can tell us now what price he is, but he was 14.50 to 1 at the start of the week, I'm nearly sure.
Views on Big Shoe?
I think he's going to need a lot of luck in running because he's another horse that likes to be held up and coming through horses. Yeah. I think he's, especially at the National, you need a lot. I think he's going to need a lot of luck today. Okay, well let's go over to Tom to find out those prices on the middle section, the Big Shoes, the Trio de Lanes, the Pinot de Rays. See what the prices they are and whether he thinks any of them are value.
Well, Trialo de Lane is the last one on there that's still quite solid actually. It's 16 to 1. Your Prince de Beauchesne, 20 to 1. Pinot de Ray. Go on to the Rainbow Hunter and Shakalaka Boom Boom, but they're teamed up in that group of horses at 25 to 1 currently with Betfred. In terms of Big Shoe, somebody who does like Big Shoe is our Irish fan, Michelle Kinnan. She goes for Big Shoe in this race, and that could be something to note because she does know a bit about her Irish racing. The lads aren't wrong either in terms of the ages of horses that need to win this national. Look at the last ones. Roy's Encore 11, Neptune Collonge 11, Ballabriggs 10, Don't Push It 10. In fact, the youngest horse to win this in 2002 was Bindery. I don't think Trialo de Lane is old enough, and maybe Declan's right. I might have to scratch him off my selections entirely. I've been convinced, Declan.
Absolutely convinced. We've got to be convinced that Tommy's Bag is almost closed. That promotion for those 5 tickets is almost closed. You've got literally a couple of minutes to get back in Tommy's Bag. We're now looking at horses Mr Moonshine, the Rainbow Hunter, Alvarado, and last time de Albain. Any amongst those 4 that take your eye?
The Rainbow Hunter obviously won at Doncaster last time. He's only ever won off a mark of 136. He's in here off 144. I think he'll run well. I think he'll look as if he may run well, but I don't think he's good enough to win, and I don't think he'll be in the 5.
And fell last year as well.
Unseated.
Unseated. Sorry.
Yeah. I think Connections have always felt he's a national. Ollie Baker, I think, has joined.
Ollie Bell,
sorry. Joint owner in him. And, I remember just him on Twitter even 2 years ago saying, trying to get him into the national, So I'm not sure he's good enough myself, and he's another horse who wouldn't like the rain. I would just say, I know we're saying the rain is fall. I think we might be overplaying it a little bit because the ground at the moment is still good to soft.
Yeah, and it would take a lot to change that.
It'll take a lot to change that to proper soft ground. Yeah.
Yeah, I think if you're looking at the jockeys in form over the national the past few years, I don't think there's no man better than Paul Maloney. He's finished in the top 4 in the last 5 nationals. And his mount today, Alvarado, you know, I think it's got a squeak. It could have a squeak, especially with Paul Maloney in the plate, I think. You know.
I have to agree with that 200%.
Yeah.
Paul Maloney, to get one
Can you
around,
get 200%, Jimmy?
I don't know, but it just, you know, I can't... Paul Maloney in staying chases, I mean, look at Mountainous. Snuck all the way around the inside, the whole way round, and got up to win the Welsh National. I mean, it was an absolute masterclass. He doesn't get near the credit he deserves for his riding.
I mean, you've got Rambo Hand to Alvarado. Last time Del Albane is the one I like, and actually gets into my first 5, actually, because I think the Irish form there might...
Doesn't stay, does it? I don't think... Has it even won over 3 miles, that horse?
You have to run. You have to win over 3 miles to actually qualify for national. So it would have done.
I don't think you have to have won. Is it placed?
Oh,
maybe
placed.
over 3
I'm sorry, you're right. No, you're right.
Because I think there was a walk-on snuck in.
Walk-on, just
he was
a distant fourth at Newbury last time.
Absolutely.
I mean, go back to walk-on's form, and he's good.
He's another who I can't see staying either. You know, I don't remember. There was this old adage about the national years ago that the perfect national horse is a 2.5 mile classy chaser, but I don't know. I don't think he'll stay. I don't think Walk-On will stay either.
Okay, nor do I. Chance de Roy, another outsider.
Chance de Roy, yeah, he won over the fences. Disappointed since. I remember tipping him on the show one day, which people won't be surprised it got beat.
Yeah. But you're a flat tipster.
At Haydock.
You're a flat tipster.
I'm a flat tipster. Lincoln, 40 to 1. 40 to 1 to Lincoln.
Remember it.
But yeah, he's disappointed, but he does like the place. I don't know if he's handicapped out of it. There's 4 horses in this race, right, that have won handicaps. Now, this just excludes the Grade 1 winners. Have won handicaps off their mark. Chance de Roy is 1, Balthazar King, Shakalaka Boom Boom, and the Package. They've all won handicaps off the marks they're running today. And I think it's very interesting, Chance de Roy, you can't write him off because of that. Because he's in here off a mark, he's 1 off. And if he turns up on his best day, he's got to have a chance.
He's got a rider in Tom O'Brien who is
very good
lethal over these fences. I think, did he win 3 in a row on Always Waning?
Yeah, that's right.
These fences. You know, Tom like Paul Maloney, I think, are 2, just in general terms, are 2 very underrated riders.
I was given 5 on my Twitter feed, and Chance de Roy was actually one that I could have put in. I went for a crazy one. We'll go for that later. But
I was the same. I didn't, but he's borderline.
Yeah, absolute borderline. And
with the other 39.
Absolutely, but I mean the Aintree form sticks out, and we think it's value, do we?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, course form is unbelievable.
Oh yeah, the form over those fences is invaluable.
And Connor?
Yeah, the fences form. You can't.
Yeah. So as an outsider goes, let's quickly get over to Tom because after the break we're going to go to his bag, but see if there's any price movers.
Chance de Roy, 33 to 1. Alvarado, 33 to 1. Like Declan Ricks, he's a big, strong animal. You could see him going well over these fences, but certainly a big price in the market. Currently with Betfred, 33 to 1 there. Peter, 33 to 1 on Chance de Roy and Alvarado. Will that be your forecast?
No, it won't be. It won't be nowhere near. We are about to go into Tommy's bag. Now, if you're wondering what Tommy's bag is all about, basically we're running a competition, 5 pairs of tickets to give away for the Dubai Duty 3 next week at Newbury. That's when the flat season really kicks in. We'll be going to those names, getting those out the bag, plus more look at the outsiders, today's big race.